So that's the fabulous River Arn meandering its down here. I'll give you a lot more information again. I mean, I have covered this this story of Innerpeffray previously, and I can't emphasize enough the presence of the yew trees. You will actually see the berries of the yew, and this, I've said 1,000 times, is indicative of worship or burial sites, and these are very ancient yew trees. So these are modern structures, and they obviously represent an open book. Not a lot of thought going into that. But, and then we have this health and safety nonsense where they block off certain things because people have no common sense left in their lives, and therefore they can't see that something might be unstable. You know, they could trip over a rock or fall over the edge or something. So they put these ghastly fences up, and it spoils the whole ambience of things, you see. And I think it all started, it was somebody got hit with a stone that fell off a property that belonged to Historic Scotland, and ever since then, or was it National Trust? No, it was the National Trust. And ever since then, they went, every single building had to get anything that looked as if it could cause an issue. They put fencing around it, or, you know, they even closed sites down to the public. It was too dangerous. And there's more evidence of nonsense. Look at this yew tree here, absolutely brilliant. You can feel the peace of the chapel here. I'll go down to the old castle, and I'll show you that. Or if I don't have time, I'll put up pictures from March 2015. But so here's the information I've sent you. In the late 1600s, David Drummond, the third Lord Drummond of Medici, lent people books from the family collection in his chapel loft space. This formed the basis of the Innerpeffray Library, which is now housed next door. And I mean, you can see that these are ancient structures, and a very important part of Stratharn. And this is the library up in here. It's absolutely stunning, but as I say, there's absolutely no need to spoil things by putting stupid plastic around about things, you see. Sorry to moan. It's not that I'm getting older that I moan more, it's just that I've got right to moan. But oh yes, so it says here, the Drummonds supported the Catholic Jacobite cause in the 1715 and 1745 risings, and that's why the Drummond Castle was, and the lands were forfeited by the state, and he got his land back right enough, but you know, you see. The problem with the whole Jacobite rising, they wanted to put a Catholic king on the throne in Scotland, and a lot of people didn't want it, and that's why there was so much havoc. There's so much havoc in regards to the whole situation, and from basically from the 1620s until about the 1780s. It was a dreadful time in Scotland. I mean, tens of thousands of the population were brutally murdered, and for the religious beliefs on each side. It was I mean, it was shocking. It was worse than some of the biggest conflicts that we know about in world history, but there's not a breath said about it. I have lately begun a library Well, that's true, because I've got a bookcase stacked full of interesting books. And when someone chaps my door and says, "Andy, can I get a loan of that book from you?" And I'll say, "No, bugger off. I'm not giving any more books of mine away. I published books and gave them to people and they bloody never even said thank you." So let's meander down to the River Arden, and we'll have a look at other stuff as we go along. Okay. I've been asked for a young lady if she's seen her dog, and I said no, I've not. I said, well, I'll keep an eye out for it. I'll shout it. I'll grab hold of it and I'll phone you. But and then there's also, when I've parked my car, some girl came out and says, "Hi Andy." I said, "Oh, hello, I didn't know you stayed here." She says, "No, I don't, I just..." Oh, well, anyway, long story. And then the penny dropped who she was. I was thinking, she always speaks to me at work when I'm popping into something. And I said, "I don't know who this girl is. She's always so pleased to see me all the time." I'm like, "Who the hell is she?" But the penny dropped as I came down the avenue. I said, that's who it is. Now I remember. Yeah. Oh yes. So let's go round. I'll show you the old Roman road to Bertha. The Romans were big in this area. Of course, the gas ridge, ran the whole length of Strathern. And I'm going to do a lot more about the Romans in this area. I was over at Ardagh next to Braco just a couple of weeks ago, but I was chatting in my camera, but I wasn't really chatting much about, well, I don't know, I'll have a second look and see. I might load some of it. I might just make a small upload about the whole thing. But then I was over at Strageith, and I want to talk about that because did I mention this earlier on when I was at Madderty? It's a very strange event happened that day, and I'm not sure whether I should load it or not. But now I'm thinking now, this is Halloween, and I'm thinking last year, where were you, Andy, Halloween? I said, I was in Milan. Were you? Yes, I was in Milan. It was thoroughly, well, it was really great fun to see all the children all dressed up, properly dressed up. They were really gone to town. They were really looking quite fabulous in their approaches. There's a shower coming through, Annie. So this is the old road that, this actually is a road. And this is, the Romans had this as part of their route to the city of Bertha, which we know as Perth. And it wasn't really a city then. It's like it's just a dreadful place. It's probably a dreadful place when the Romans visited as well, and they got the hell out. But they called it Bertha, and the Romans were quite clever actually, because this is the only part of the River Erne that they felt they could cross. And you can see the showers starting to drip by. I hope we got enough footage, Andy, for this little escapade, but we'll try our best, Andy. So over that way is Strageith, and the Romans had an encampment over there as well. There had lots of Roman stations and camps all set up everywhere. Huge number of men involved, all the way from the Roman Empire. Travelled all this way over several years. The area of history that I concentrate most is in the 1st century, in 83 AD, when Agricola, the Roman chief of chiefs, I mean, he was a fabulous general, and he organised everything. The river's quite high at the moment, but the Romans forded this just at this point here, and across that way it travels over to Strageith, which is not very far away actually. But this is the, I mean, they wouldn't have been able to get across in this water at this height, even with the chariots and stuff. But when the water drops, as it often does in this part, they would have been able to easily ford it. But yeah, so Agricola had moved. He was several campaigns in the UK, but he got up from the Welsh area up through into England and southern Scotland, all within the period of 78 AD up till about 83 AD, and as far as you could get was just behind Crieff actually, was well, up at Fendoch. I mean, they did manage to get up the eastern coast slightly and up into Morayshire, but they couldn't penetrate the smog land. The Caledonians and the Picts were just too strong for them. The reason Agricola done this was simply he wanted to disrupt all the people's normal activities in the day, where they went and all the rest of it. So he set up all these different forts, and people couldn't do their normal trudging around the land as they used to. So I'm not sure if the Romans brought a few decent things. I think in the movie Monty Python, Life of Brian, made fun and joke about what the Romans managed to achieve. But I mean, they brought a lot of things to our society which are still current today, like irrigation and money and sanitary systems and all the rest of everything. But I think they were rather bold. They were too bold actually, in the enforced march to take over all of Europe was just too much, and into Africa and over to the Middle East and to Babylon and stuff. And they just became too big and collapsed. That's exactly what happened. A bit like the British Empire, it just became too big and it collapsed. Like everything, it collapses. One day the universe will collapse.